and question on morality for liberals. Spoken by Jenny Lin. This is a mental experiment. It presents an imaginary scenario. The stylized and allegorical nature of the presentation is required to ensure you are not actually triggered by the presentation. The idea is to ask a potentially highly charged question without infuriating, triggering, or offending anyone. This is an academic exercise. If you are not able to engage in speculative thought or analyzing imaginary scenarios, if you cannot grasp the purpose of allegory, it is best you stop reading at this point. If you are a liberal and are interested in exploring a moral question and investigating a moral scenario, your participation is sincerely invited. Imagine you are a liberal. In this scenario, you hold liberal views about right and wrong. Meaning, at least in this scenario, you rely on your emotional reaction to stimuli to determine what is good or bad. To clarify with some examples, in this scenario, you are okay with free speech as long as you do not react negatively to what words or phrases are being said. You are okay with freedom and liberties as long as what is being done by others does not inconvenience you. You know what is good and what is bad because you love what is good and you hate what is bad. In the scenario we wish to discuss, you see a picture of a furbaka. In real life, you have no idea what a furbaka is, but in this scenario, you find pictures of furbakas very offensive. Naturally, as a good person, you have an intense negative reaction to it. Upon viewing it, you feel bad. Your mind and body is repelled by it. Your brain is repulsed at the sight of it. You show this picture to your liberal friends. They have similar physical reactions. Every liberal you show this picture to are similarly repulsed by it. You are also revolted by this picture. You require counseling, some require medication. What this means is that the physical reaction all liberals experience upon viewing this picture is severe and medically corroborated. As good persons, you band together to have the image banned. Your claim or argument is that this picture of a furbaka is so offensive, so beyond the pale, so morally repugnant and without any redeeming social value it must be erased totally, everywhere. The question is, given that your body and mind reacted negatively to this image, why do you think a physiological reaction matters? What is it about the performance or reactivity of your endocrine system, your hormonal system, and other chemical and electrical features of your body that makes those who experience these physiological responses come to the conclusion their physiological reactions have moral value or cosmic significance? Do you think physiology matters? Do you think endocrine systems have something of value to say concerning moral issues? No one disputes you have not had a severe chemical reaction to the electrical activity of your eyes sending impulses to your brain. No one is saying that these peculiar set of signals did not cause a very real set of chemical reactions in your endocrine system. Everything up to this point is agreed to and accepted. What the question is, how come the physiology of your brain gave you the thought that others ought to care about your endocrinal imbalance? How does the liberal brain go from, my body has had an unpleasant chemical response to a set of electrical impulses, to the conclusion that everyone else ought to be concerned because of my peculiar physiology? What happens to your brain or physiology to make your brain think your physiology matters to anyone else? If you as a liberal are having serious physiological problems with your endocrine system, ought not the medical establishment find some way of correcting your physiology, perhaps hook you up to an apparatus that would send electrical signals to your brain that would result in chemical actions you would find pleasant? Would this not be a more physiological satisfying solution to what is a physiological problem? What are your thoughts on this? Would you not prefer chemicals to adjust your physiology to you feel pleasant when faced with things like a picture of a furbaka? Would it not be cheaper and less socially disrupted to just directly treat the physiology than the sociology? Would you just take a chemical when faced with an unpleasant sensation than bothering the rest of us about how you feel? Or, does your physiology prevent you from treating the real source of the problem, i.e., your chemical and electrical responses to a stimuli?